I'm Krista Rainbow. Welcome to my channel. Let's get colorful. So I wanted to share my story of how I found out I was a planetary grid keeper. And even though I had my spiritual awakening in 2010, I didn't find out that I was a planetary grid keeper until probably about 4 years ago. And so how it happened was I always follow my inner guidance, and so sometimes I'm told to learn certain things, and that just helps me to raise my vibration and get to the next level of expanding my consciousness. And so on this particular occasion, I was learning about the platonic solids and the platonic solid energies, which are basically the basics of all creation, are these platonic solid energies. And so I started researching on that. And it was shortly after I had started kind of getting into that I realized something was wrong. Something was happening, and I was getting some really negative, dark feelings and thoughts. And that's just not me. That type of stuff normally doesn't happen to me. And so when you're working with the law of attraction and you're trying to raise your vibration, you're constantly being told that you have to just be positive, don't think negative, can't think any of that stuff. Well, sometimes you just can't help it. And I knew at this particular point that these negative thoughts and feelings that were happening were not from me. And so I kind of figured out that I was being psychically attacked. And so it was kind of scary, and it took me a little while to recover. I actually cut off contact with all my guides and angels and everything because I was so afraid that maybe I'd opened some type of door. And so I was really scared. And so it took me a little while to recover from that. And when I finally recovered, I was like, okay, what was I doing when this psychic attack happened? Because clearly somebody's trying to stop me from knowing something, from doing something. And so I was like, platonic solids. So you know what I did? I just jumped right in there full force. I was going for it. I was going to find out everything that I could. And whatever they didn't want me to know, I was going to find out. And so through lots of meditation and contemplation, I was kind of being guided to do a sacred ceremony in my yard. And I live in the country on 20 acres and kind of got moved here kind of out of nowhere. And so I kind of felt like this was the spot I was meant to be. And so I was being guided to do this ceremony. And you kind of think, am I really supposed to do this? Am I just making this all up in my head? And so I asked for a date. I said, what is the date that I'm supposed to do this ceremony? And so I got a date. And when I looked up the date without knowing anything about it, it was the date of a solar eclipse. And so I thought, okay, clearly this is something important that I'm supposed to do. And so I did it. And so I got all the guidance necessary. And I didn't really even know what I was doing when I did it. I just know that it involved the solar eclipse, the platonic solid energies, light language, and then I was also harnessing the planetary energies. And so it wasn't until much later that I learned that I was opening a gateway to just ensure that the higher dimensional frequencies could flow through and that nothing was blocking them or getting in their way. And because I had been psychically attacked, I knew that there was negative beings that were out there trying to stop me. And they're trying to stop people from reaching their potential. They don't want us to find these higher dimensional frequencies. They don't want us to raise our vibration. And so they're going to try to stop us in any way that they can. And so there are things, to make it simple, I'll call it a false matrix that they can create to kind of affect the frequency of the planet. And so it's my job in the portion of the grid that I'm responsible for. I go in and I make sure that it's clear, that there's no negative technology or anything interfering with the higher dimensional frequencies that are coming to the planet. Because we're all waking up right now and there's some great things happening. And so I just ensure that my portion of the grid is kept clear. Nobody's messing around with it. And then just continuing to make sure that those frequencies come down. And so it's a very rewarding spiritual job, and doesn't mean I'll do that forever. Sometimes you evolve and you expand your consciousness, and then you end up learning that you're totally meant to do something else. So for now, that's what I'm doing, and I enjoy it very much. And please look forward to seeing more videos on the subject. And thank you for sharing your journey with me.